Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Gramática de hoy. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about when to use the imperfect tense. So let's begin by looking at the following sentence. Cuando era niña, me encantaba ir de vacaciones a la casa de mis abuelos. So notice that the verbs era and encantaba, they are both in the imperfect tense. And what it means in English is, when I was a child, I used to love to visit my grandparents on vacation. So far we have learned that in the past tense in Spanish, we have the preterite. And first, we use the preterite to narrate events that have a clear beginning and a clear end. So, for example, if I want to say, I had a happy childhood, then in Spanish, I would say, tuve una niñez feliz. And because the stage of life that I'm referring to has a clear beginning and a clear end, this is why I use the preterite. The second use of the preterite is to narrate a series of past actions that are already finished. For example, esta mañana me levanté temprano. Bebí una taza de té y leí por 30 minutos. So in English, this morning, I woke up early, had a cup of tea, and read a book for 30 minutes. So now let's take a look at when do we use the imperfect tense. So the premise of the imperfect tense is that we use it to add details or express the reason why an event took place. So let's take a look at this example. Esta mañana me levanté temprano porque quería leer un libro. So the equivalent in English will be, this morning, I woke up early because I wanted to read a book. So as soon as I introduce the porque or the because, the reason why I woke up this morning is when I use the imperfect tense. So now let's take a look at the conjugation. So every verb that ends in aere, all you have to do is replace the ending for aba in each of its corresponding forms. So yo estaba, tú estabas, él, ella, usted estaba, nosotros estábamos. Notice the accent in the nosotros form in the first a. And ellos, ellas, ustedes estaban. In the case of verbs that end in ere and iere, all you have to do is replace the ending for ia. So let's take a look at poder and servir. Yo podía, yo servía. Tú podías, tú servías. Él, ella, usted podía. él, ella, usted servía. And notice that in every one of the conjugations, you must have an accent on the E. In the form of nosotros will be podíamos, servíamos. En ellos, ellas, ustedes will be podían and servían. And once again, notice the accent. So there are only two irregular verbs in the imperfect tense. The first one is the verb ir. Yo iba, tú ibas, él, ella, usted iba, nosotros íbamos. And again, pay attention to that accent. Ellos, ellas, ustedes iban. And the second irregular verb is the verb ser. Yo era, tú eras, él, ella, usted era, nosotros éramos y ellos, ellas, ustedes eran. Again, notice the accent in the nosotros form. So, when do we use the imperfect tense? In addition to providing details and background information, we use the imperfect tense to express age in the past. So, for example, tenía 5 años la primera vez que fui a la playa. In English, I was 5 years old the first time I went to the beach. The second use of the imperfect is to tell time in the past. So, for example, eran las 8 de la mañana cuando llegó el tren. In English, it was 8 a.m. when the train arrived. We also use the imperfect tense to express habitual actions in the past. So, for example, me gustaba correr por las mañanas. In English, I used to like to go running in the mornings. We also use it to describe emotions or physical states. For example, ayer estaba cansada y no me sentía bien. Yesterday, I was tired and I didn't feel well. And the last and final use of the imperfect is to describe or to talk about what was happening at a certain moment in the past. For example, cuando era joven, vivía en una ciudad muy grande. When I was young, I lived or I used to live in a big city. And that's it for today.